working on our in-person event that we're holding next week. Mike and Jennifer and I are working on it to put the finishing touches on it so we can deliver an amazing event next week. But I still want to record these videos for you. And so in today's video, I'm going to be talking about how to use video to manage your team. So I often talk about like time management, and I often talk about leadership, but this video is really about the intersection between the two, and that is using video to manage your team so that they're more productive and so that you're more productive as well. Before I start, let me just give a little disclaimer here that when I say team, we might automatically think of like our work team if you own a business or if you work at a company. And that's certainly part of it. But what I am sharing here also applies to any team that you might lead for example, like a community group or a charity, that type of thing. So if you're leading any type of organization, this will apply for that. And this will also apply for your family as well, because you're a leader not just at work, but at home too. And so you can use these strategies and these tools for your family as well. Yeah, it applies broadly across your life and your work. Okay, so let's talk about why you want to use video. I think the very best way to connect with people is like sort of face-to-face, in person. It's just such an effective way to communicate, but that's not always possible, right? There are things that hold us back. Number one being we might live in different places. So at Food Dog Group, we have a large team, but it's very spread out across North America and I think around the world too. We've got like team members all over the place, so face-to-face isn't necessarily helpful. But the next best thing from that is Zoom or like some kind of online meeting. And those are good, but there are times when that doesn't work either. For example, if you have people in different time zones, what might be a good time for you wouldn't be a good time for them. They may not be working yet. Or there are times when a meeting just isn't necessary because it's more about you giving information rather than having an interaction. So there are definitely times when face-to-face meetings are valuable or online Zoom type meetings are valuable. But the next level down from that is really a great tool. And I think there are lots of meetings that don't need to be meetings. They can be video instead. And so that's what I'm talking about today is leading your team with video. And of course, again, there are times when other types of interaction is good. But if you can't do an in-person meeting and if you can't do a Zoom meeting, then what do you have? Like you could type stuff, and that's not bad. Typing stuff is okay, but you lose a lot in the interaction. Maybe a poor grammar or a misspelling will just totally send the team member off in a different direction. And then I think also with video, there is like tonality and inflection and body language and even the ability to show things on your screen that will all help even more than typing things out. So very best way to communicate is face-to-face, in person. Second best way is online, Zoom. And then I'd say the third best way, but a really good, solid go-to way more often than not, is recording videos. And when I'm talking about recording videos, I'm really talking about two types. So one that's kind of like what I'm doing here for you right now, where you're recording, you're facing the screen, you are talking. That's one type. But then the other type might be you're sharing your screen and kind of like pointing with your cursor around something to give feedback or whatever. So I do both of those types of videos all the time, and I love it. So that's one reason to do these videos because if you can't do face-to-face or Zoom, then this is like the next best way, better than typing. And I think there's also a good like time type of effect here too, where it might work for you to do something to record a video, and then you can send it off, and then when your team picks it up, they pick it up and they can watch it and handle it. And so you're able to be, as an organization, be more effective and productive because you're not, you're able to record your instructions and hand it off, and then they'll get them and run with them even while you're sleeping or busy. And I actually found this when Janelle was getting radiation treatments at the beginning of the year. She had to go into the hospital, or not the beginning of this year, two Januaries ago. The pandemic was still kind of like restricting access to things. And so she would go to the hospital for radiation treatments. I would drive her there and drop them off. They were quick treatments, so I didn't even bother going home. I just waited in the parking lot, but I wasn't allowed in the hospital. But I used the time. And so I would record videos for my team. I'd record them on my phone. They were just instructional videos. And I was able to run the team from the parking lot of the hospital. So that worked out really well. So there's that timing piece too that makes video really, really valuable. Okay, so before I talk about the types of videos that you can use to run your team, to manage your team, I'm going to talk about some software. So the top player in the game, and there's a good chance you've heard of them before, they are Loom, Loom, Loom. And they're decent software. They've got like an online app. I think they've got like something for your phone. I have used them. I don't actually use them, but it's not because I don't like them or anything. It's because I use a software called ScreenPal, which has a video editing component as well. And I've been using them for a long time, and I really like them. So kind of like I'm used to that. It kind of gives me the same effect as a Loom. So why switch? So Loom is like the big player. ScreenPal I really like and I use, but there are many others as well. So you may find something that you prefer, but Loom or ScreenPal are both good tools to use. I have just used my phone, just like picked up my phone and recorded, as I mentioned, I was doing when Janelle was having her radiation treatments a couple of years ago. So any sort of video recording tool will work. Of course, it will depend on whether you want to do these sort of like face-to-face or sharing your screen. Okay, so now let's talk about the types of videos that you can use, that you can record, that will help your team. So the top one is instructional videos. This is where like you are telling your team, okay, you need to do this, you need to do that. Let's, here's your priorities. Here's what I want you to work on. Here's what I want you to not work on. And so I do a lot of those. There was a while, I don't do them as much now, but there was a while when the Foo Dog Group team was a bit smaller that I would send out those videos on like a Sunday night. I take 20 minutes on a Sunday night and I would knock out those kind of instructional guidance leadership videos to the team. So each team member, I'd be like, okay, you need to do this and then you need to do that. And I would record a bunch of those and send them out. I don't do those as much anymore, but partly that's just because the nature of my work has changed and I have other people kind of leading that type of thing. And so they'll handle it differently. But when I was doing it, and if I ever had to go back to it again, then I would record those like Sunday night videos that would give some instruction and guidance and leadership to the team for the week to come. So that is one type of video. It's probably the most common. It's likely the one that you would think of first. And they're great to do both individually. So if you have like 3 team members, you can do 3 videos. But I also have done them where I'll do an instructional video for all 3 of them. It's a great way to get alignment. If you can't do a meeting, but you still want everyone to be aligned, I'll record a video and I'll be like, hey, the 3 of you, here's what a project I want you to work on. And person 1, you're going to do this part, and then you're going to hand it to person 2. And person 2, you're going to do this part, you're going to hand it to person 3. So these instructional videos are good for like one-on-one type of instruction and leadership, also good for a whole team. The second type might be feedback videos. And so here, in fact, I'm going to do one right after this for a team member. I've had a team member write some copy for us. And so I'm going to open the document that they wrote. I'm going to share my screen and record a video where I'm walking through like step by step. Okay, this is a good headline, but we should change this word. This image is good, but we should consider using, a different image that should, maybe reflect this. These bullet points are great, but maybe rearrange them in a different order, and so on. So I do that a lot, especially when I'm reviewing anything that's like creative. So like websites and landing pages, webinar slide decks, copy, as I mentioned. So sharing your screen, giving feedback that way is a great thing to use video for. It's way better than like trying to type in, okay, on the third bullet of the second section where the bullets are, when this word says this, change it to that. It's just easier to just do a video and give instruction. The third way that I use a video is to give updates, usually to a larger group of people, like a team, for example. Sometimes we'll do this for our clients as well, but we give updates. And so, maybe Mike and Jennifer and I will have come up with, so here are the next master classes we're going to be running, and then, an in-person training that we'll be doing later. And so I will just record one video, and it will be for the whole team. It'll say, okay, on this day, we're going to do this master class. On this day, we're going to do this master class. And on this weekend, we're going to do this in-person training. And so it's just a great way to communicate out a whole bunch of information all at once, and a little bit easier than typing. And then people also see your excitement, and you can kind of throw in some details about the updates. So this is another thing. If you're a team, like if you lead a team, it's great to do this on a weekend as well, so that when the team shows up on Monday morning, they see some updates of what you're really excited about or looking forward to for the week to come. So that's a good, team updates are a good way to use video. And then the fourth and final way that you can use video to lead your team is to inspire them. And this is one that I do a little bit, but I need to do more, just to be transparent. And that is to inspire your team with something on the video, so that maybe on a Monday morning they show up to work or show up to their desk and they see your video, and you're like, hey everyone, I am so excited to be working at Food Dog Group. We're making a big impact in the world. I'm honored to have you on the team, and I'm grateful for you and for the work that you are doing for us. Here are, 3 ways that we can be really excited this week about the impact we're having. So these types of videos just inspire. They help to set a tone. They help to create the culture that you want in your organization. And they're quick to make. They're easy to make. And you just like with all the other videos, you share them. You can do them all at once for the whole team. Do one video, and the team will watch it, and they will be inspired by your words. All right. So that is my video for the day, sharing with you the way that you can help to lead your team with video. Video is very effective, very useful way to lead your team, to set the culture, to inspire and guide your team. And then, of course, it can be done at any time. So you've got this distributed team in different time zones. You can be doing videos now, and then they can pick up those videos and handle them when it's time for them to work. So I hope this was helpful. I hope you have an amazing day, and we will see you tomorrow.